In this session, we are going to explain the Hadoop Mapreduce word count program in details. Hadoop Mapreduce programs are divided into mapper tasks and reducer tasks. The mapper role is to load the input data, parse the input, and generate key-value pairs. The output of mapper is also called intermediate pairs, which are submitted to reducer. The role of reducer is to group and aggregate the key-value pairs and produce final output in the form of key-value pairs. At a high-level point of view, our word count program will consist of three classes. This is the driver class of our word count program, which contains our main function. The driver section contains all the required configurations such as setting the job name, providing input path and output path, mapper class, and the reducer class. This configuration line will create configuration object conf and it will provide access to configuration parameters. Configuration parameters are defined in the form of XML data and by default specifies the configuration files of Hadoop and some extra configurations that we are setting in our driver class. The job class allows the user to configure the job and submit it and control its execution. As a user, we create the application, for example this word count program, describe various facets of the job via the job class, and then submit the job and monitor its progress. This line will create a new job with the given name, which is word count, and with the default configurations provided by conf object, and also with the extra configurations that we are setting before creating the job object. The job class has other various methods that we will specify in our driver section. In this line, we are setting the map class in our job. This line sets the reduce class. The set input format class and the output format class are set to text input and output formats. For text input format, the key value pair will be the byte offset and the actual line from the file. The file input format is an abstract class and is the base class of input formats. Because abstract classes cannot be instantiated, we use the class name method. We use the add input method to add the path to the list of inputs for the Mapreduce job. Similarly, set output path is a method of file output format class and it is used to define the output directory. Please note that we are only setting the output key and the output value data types in the above section. Input key and input value data types are specified in the mapper and reducer classes. So this is all about the driver code and how we are invoking. When we submit this driver code, the map class and the reduce class will be invoked one after the other. Now let's examine the mapper class. First, we are specifying the data types for mapper input key value pairs and the mapper output key value pairs. For text input format, the mapper key value pair will always be byte offset and the actual line of the file. Because byte offset can be very high value depending upon the file size, we use long writable data type for key and text data type for value. Similarly, mapper key value output pair will be word and an integer, which would be the word and the count. Thus we use text data format for key and int writable data type to store the count. The map function has long writable key, text value, and context. It maps the key value pairs into an intermediate key value pair with the help of string tokenizer class. As you can see, we are passing value from the key value pair as an argument to the string tokenizer function. It will break a line into tokens. And finally, we iterate over the tokens and emit them as key value pairs of the word and the count. Now this key value pair is written into the intermediate output and submitted to the reducer class. Now let's go to the reducer class and see how it processes the intermediate values. The logic is very simple. The reducer only groups the key value pairs associating with key and it sums all the values. Reducer has three main phases: shuffle, sort and reduce. The first two phases are automatically taken care of by the framework. The reduce function is called for each in the sorted inputs. So when we receive this key and an array of int writables, we basically receive one word and the array of its counts. The output of the reduce task is written to a file with the help of a record writer. So my output will contain text and int writable. Here we can see my reducer class iterates over this array of count and sums up the values. The output is finally written in terms of key and value pair and written to a file. This key value pair is going to contain my final word and the total count. When all the reducers are done processing all the keys and the array of their counts, we will get all the words in a file in our input files and their corresponding total counts. So this is how a Mapreduce program works. We will further see how to execute this Mapreduce program in a Hadoop cluster.